now, when I think of myself as an adult, and you talk to any of my close friends, the biggest compliment I give to my close friends, they all know this, is thank you so much for making me feel safe, right? And I think back to those times when all I wanted was to somebody to move in, and the times now when I'm, I won't say acting out, but nervous, saying the wrong thing. I can speak in very exact terms, which I think when it can be very jarring for people. And what I really want is for people to lean in.
Yeah. And contain you.
And contain it.
I'd be like, I'm not going to let you speak like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I'm not going to let you speak like that.
Because you're a good person and I love you.
And,
yeah.
you know, and it's not, and again, it doesn't come out in temper tantrums, but I can be very exacting.
Yeah.
In my words, to the point that people don't know what to do with it.
Well, you know, I always think anger is so misunderstood. Anger is a feeling that we have. It's our best feeling because it tells us what we want and we're not getting. Anger is access to desire. And it's why women don't like to feel angry, because when we had tantrums, we were really sent to our room as little girls.
Yeah.
And what we learned is not that our tantrums are bad, but that our desires. You're a person with a ton of ideas.
Yeah.
And a ton of want and desire.
Yeah.
So you probably did have more anger than the average kid because of that.
For sure.
Right? And now you figured out how to channel it.
Yeah. One of my worst habits as a leader, and I'm looking at it differently now after talking to you, instead of saying, I need to fix that, which I do, but now I'm saying, okay, where is it coming from is a more interesting question.
Yeah.
I'm a reactor, right? So somebody will show me something and I'll go through all the things that are wrong with it. And I make somebody feel bad and demoralized about the work that they do. I think the work's great. I just found a few things wrong with it. And I go straight to everything that's wrong. And I always forget to say, or I often forget to say, this is great work. Thanks for putting in all this effort. I have a few comments, right? So make somebody feel, I don't. I leave that little preamble out. And then I'm like, shit, I hurt somebody's feelings. Let me go backtrack and be like, and now I'm looking at it through a new lens rather than how can I stop being a reactor? Going, all right, where did that come from?
When we want to change something in a relationship with someone else, we generally get the starting point wrong. We can't change how we interact with someone else until truly, concretely, we change the way we interact with ourselves. And so if you know that happens, and by the way, I'm the same thing. I'm just so quick to being like, no. And then in my head, I'm like, that was an amazing meeting. I love that person.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. I'm like,
I feel like shit.
I love that person. I love having them on the team. And they're like, oh, I can't do anything right.
And I think the only success I've had, and my husband has actually pointed this out, because he said to me, I used to think you were hard on everyone and hard on me. But he said to me, I realized, oh my goodness, like imagine Becky's monologue to herself. If that's the way she said, like imagine how hard she is on herself. And he was like, it totally changed. Like I felt so much more compassion. And I really took that in from him. And I think what that led me to do is find moments where, whether it's burning the garlic, not leaving enough time to manage traffic. Oh my goodness, I didn't respond to that email. Actually truly saying in those moments, and this to me is a good framework, I'm a good person who didn't respond. I'm a good person who didn't leave enough time.
Yeah.
Actually practicing the validation first with myself. You need to build that up before you're going to give it out.
What is a client you've had, something you've done in your professional life that filled you up more than sort of anything else ever has?
So this really snarky teenager, I remember the first session, the first thing she came, and I did have a relatively old computer, and she goes, that's your computer? You're pathetic. That's the first thing she said in the office. And I was like, game on, you know, I was like ready. And I was like, okay. And she was a cutter. She was cutting. And so I said, okay, well, tell me, how long have you been cutting? And she was 2 years. I was like, that's a long time. Your parents told me you've never seen a therapist before. And she goes, wow, my parents wanted to send me to therapy 2 years ago. And I told them, if you send me to therapy, basically you're saying I'm fucked up and I'm a messed up kid. And you're kind of like saying you don't love me. Is that what you mean? And if you send me to therapy, I'm going to go and I'm going to make up lies and I'm going to miss the appointments and I'm just going to waste your money. And my heart's racing so fast, Simon, as I'm telling you this. And then there was something in me. I just knew to say nothing. And probably after 30 seconds, the entire mood shifted. She went from that, exactly how I said, and she just looked down. And when she looked up at me, she said, can you believe they let me make that decision?
Wow.
The kids who act out the most are in the most pain. Just so misunderstood. And I don't blame parents because, again, being able to see someone's pain and fear and desperation under their nasty words and behavior, that requires skills and practice and support and resources. And the only thing we're told at the hospital is that we should get a car seat. And so these were such amazing, well-meaning parents. They didn't understand her. And so that's taught me a lot about kids. It's taught me a lot about boundaries. So interesting. I was sharing this with someone in our community the other day whose kid was giving the hard time about therapy and said, Dr. Becky, I used exactly what you said, which came from this. We're going to a therapist. That is my decision. And it's a decision because I love you and I believe in you. You can go, you can lie. My job is to get you there. I'm going to leave work early every Thursday. I'm going to drive you there. What happens in the room, I have no idea and is up to you. But there's nothing you can say that will change my mind about how important it is for me to do my job. And we're going to start that tomorrow.
You've helped a lot of teenagers. You've helped a lot of cutters. You've helped a lot of misunderstood kids. You've helped a lot of kids of parents who are struggling and just don't have the skills. What is it about this one young woman who, again, of all the kids you've helped, she's the one you want to talk to me about?
You know what it is? I guess I really have a thing for the kids who everyone labels as bad, as difficult, as defiant, as dramatic, the misunderstood kids. If I think back to my own childhood, why? I was actually the opposite. I was way too good as a kid. If I think way too good. Took me too long to kind of get into my own desire and power and separation. It was so good. So maybe that's like the most repressed part of me, or maybe part of me envied them. I don't know. But I think all the time I would hear from parents, oh, my kid hits and they're such a bad kid and their poor sister. And it's so interesting. My framework was always different. Like, yes, the poor sister, we've got to protect her. We have to protect your other kid. This kid is going to build their identity as the bad kid. We have to protect that kid too. That kid is in desperate need of protection. And I guess I feel like someone needs to be a champion for these really good kids who are having a really hard time and are in desperate need of support and coaching and help and leadership.
You practice the thing you preach so well. So well. I know too many people who write the book, but then you meet them and you realize it's bullshit. Or maybe it was true up until they had fame and fortune and then it stopped being true, And you are so true to yourself and true to your work. You are the embodiment of the stuff you talk about. What an honor. What an honor to sit down with you. Such joy.
Thank you. I said thank you. I'm taking that in. Thank you. It feels really good.
I could literally talk to you for forever. You've challenged me as a leader. You've challenged me as I've had free therapy. You don't even realize this. How many little epiphanies and light bulbs have gone off of triggers and things that they're manifesting in all kinds of my relationships. This has been the best free therapy I've ever had. Thanks so much for coming on. I can't
wait for our next session then.
Yeah,
Look forward to
appreciate it. Thank you. If you enjoyed this podcast and would like to hear more, please subscribe wherever you like to listen to podcasts. And if you'd like even more optimism, check out my website, simonsinek.com, for classes, videos, and more. Until then, take care of yourself, take care of each other.